Hi you guys, welcome back to another video. For today's nail design, I am doing a really cute, little bit of gothic, a little bit of aesthetically pleasing to the eye nail design. I decided to use these blue and green shades that I used in a previous summer design, so I will put the link to that design up in the right corner right now. That way if you guys are interested, check it out. But stick around for this one before we get ahead of ourselves, because this one turns out so cute. I did something a little bit different with the rhinestones, or they're not rhinestones, like the little rings on the end of the design. And I'll get more into that as we get to that point in the video. But for right now, I am doing my acrylic application with one of my favorite Valentino acrylics. This is Bear Me. Bear Me is so gorgeous. It's not even a milky white. It's just so soft. It's not white. It's not milky white, but it's somewhere in between. So it is one of their most popular shades of acrylic. So definitely put it in your collection, because trust me, you won't regret it. So I'm just gonna let you guys watch my acrylic application, and I will come back when it's time to get into the shaping and filing. Now, I will say that originally I was going to do a coffin design, not like super coffin, but to the point where it definitely was not going to be a tapered square. And I haven't used a coffin shape in years. And I mean years. It was so popular. I know you guys remember coffin was like the shape around like 10 years ago. And I have not done coffin shape since then. So I really wanted to do something different, especially given that this was going to be a more edgy nail design. But guys, I swear once I got to my middle finger right here, I was like, nope, nope, can't do it. I went back and started adding more acrylic to my index finger and my middle finger in order to make it more of a tapered square shape, because I just couldn't do it. So I'm curious to know if you guys still enjoy a coffin shape, because I have not seen that shape anywhere. like not on TikTok, not on Instagram, not on Pinterest. Like it's just not a popular shape anymore. But if you guys are interested in seeing designs with that shape, I will absolutely do that. Just let me know in the comments down below what types of shapes are your favorites. All right, you guys, so once my acrylic application was all said and done, it was time for shaping and filing. Now, of course, I'm going in with my Melody Susie purple carbide bit. I believe this is the coarse grits. I do not use a medium grit because then it just takes too long, and I find myself applying more pressure in order to speed up the process, and then I start digging and getting these dents in the acrylic. In extra coarse bit or grits, or extra coarse grits, it just causes too much vibrations in the nail and it becomes uncomfortable. So trust me when I tell you, coarse grit is the way to go. Now you'll notice if you start digging into the acrylic that it's time for a new bit. That is like the telltale sign. So or if you feel like you have to apply too much pressure or pick up the speed, then it's probably time for a new bit because that one's just getting dull. Now, my RPMs are around 12 to 15,000 RPMs. That's what I am comfortable with. For sure, I did not start out that way. I was definitely around 10,000 RPMs when I started off. But the more experience you get and the more comfortable you get using your e-file, you'll be able to pick up the speed a little bit more. Once I was done using my e-file, I always go in with my hand file to really clean up those sidewalls underneath those sidewalls and just crisp up those edges. I always, after I do that and I'm like, ooh, the shape looks great, I go over the surface of the nail. What it does is reveals any dents or unevenness that might be in the nail. And as you keep going over the surface, you will even all of that out. I'll definitely make a video explaining exactly how I do that and what I mean, because this is going to make or break your shaping. Sometimes when you're applying acrylic, you'll actually notice that it tends to be more of a hump near the apex area, and then it just kind of like rolls down off a hill to your free edge, and you're like, darn, why can't I get this like straight, even throughout? Going over the surface of your nail is going to help even all of that out. Also, the way you apply your acrylic is a big factor, but I'll definitely make a video explaining all of that. That way you guys can get the crispiest acrylic application and shaping possible. Here's what my nails are looking like after shaping and filing. If you notice, I have not included my thumb in the acrylic application or shaping and filing, and that's just because I was so bad at staying like in the camera. Normally I'm not that bad, but I don't know what the heck was going on. I was awful, so I didn't show that part. Now, right here, I'm just showing some of the colors that I will be using for this nail design. The only color that I don't end up using is this next shade right here. It's still a gorgeous neon green. I just don't include it in this video. But what I end up starting off with is this gorgeous green. I believe it's Jukebox Olive or Olive Jukebox. To be honest, the way they put the labeling on the bottle is always a little bit weird to me. But it is by D&D, and I will definitely put the link for it down below. I believe you can also find this one in my Amazon storefront, so be sure to check it out there as well. I also want to mention that sometimes in my acrylic application videos, you will notice that right around the cuticle, it looks a little bit uneven. And I promise it's not the application. It's simply because I always apply Macart Peel It Off base coat before I do anything. And it's already immediately lifting in that area because I do pop these off once I'm done with the design. So that's all it is. It's not my application. I know I used to think it was my application. I was like, dang, what the heck's going on? But I later realized that it's actually just lifting in that area from the Peel It Off base coat. So it's essentially doing what it's supposed to do, just a little bit sooner than I'd like. The next thing I do is take this really cute green shade of Cat Eye by Beetles as well, and then I just do one coat of this over my ring finger. The next thing I do is I move on to my pinky. So I'm taking that same shade of green by D&D and I'm gonna make a French. The cool thing about this snail is that I actually make it an ombre using my ombre brush. So once I'm done with this green by D&D, I actually take a blue shade also by Beetles and I start ombreing that upward from the tip. So once I was done doing 2 coats of that blue, I also go in with the blue cat eye. Now, when I was doing the cat eye, it turned out nice, but I realized that I wanted it to be a little bit further up on the nail because it was a little too green. And I wanted a little more blue. You can see what I mean right here. When I was done, I was like, where's the cat eye? Like, it's not even shining. I can't see it. So I do end up adding more blue cat eye to this nail just so that it comes a little further up on the nail. Now, moving on to my index finger, I take that same blue and same cat eye that I used on my pinky to create a French design for the snail. So this nail was turning out so cute. I absolutely loved it. And then it was time to get ready for the chrome. Now, the chrome that I'm using is a silver chrome. It's from a different pack that I originally used, so I'll have to find it and upload it to my Amazon storefront. But guys, it exploded because clearly I've never used it before. And when I went to like lift the film, it wasn't coming off and there was chrome powder everywhere. If you guys have ever made this mistake, you know how hard it is to get it off of stuff. Like I had to switch everything out and it was so annoying, but it happens, you know. What I end up doing though is moving on and starting my chrome design. Anytime I start my chrome design, I always apply matte top coat. That way it doesn't stick, because chrome will stick to anything that is glossy because of the stickiness. So make sure you guys are applying your matte top coat, and then after that you want to take a lint-free wipe with some swipe or some acetone and just start rubbing away the leftover sticky layer from the matte top coat. Now I'm just going to take that same shade of blue and green and start airbrushing little spots all over the nail. Right above my cuticle area, I have these little skin protectors that I got from Amazon. These are by Macart. Um, they are a great like solution to avoid getting nail polish all over your skin because we don't want that coming in contact with our skin because then you develop allergic reactions. And this, I believe, is latex free. So if you're allergic to latex, this is a good option as well. However, it is not 100% like foolproof. So you do end up getting gel polish seeping through certain areas if you don't apply it well. So just keep that in mind before you fully cure it to make sure that it didn't seep through certain areas or get in contact with the skin, because once you cure it on the skin, it is really hard to get it off. Now for this part of the design, what I'm doing is taking Macart sculpted gel paint, which is basically like 3D liner gel, and I am making these white lines. It's supposed to give it like a ribbed glass effect, which is really cute. In order to get the effect the way that I wanted though, I do my lines, fully cure them, and then I come back and do a second layer of lines right over what I just did. That way it looks a lot more 3D. So this part of the nail design was fairly new to me. I had never used like these tiny little chains before. I've always wanted to, but never actually done it. So this was my first time doing something like this. What I decided to do was cut a piece of the chain that I needed because they come in such long strands. So I used some little, they're not cuticle scissors, but they're nail art scissors, and they're really tiny. I'll leave them in the description below if I can find it because I know I got it off of Amazon. But anyways, that's what I used to cut the chain to my desired length, and then I ran the chain through some rhinestone glue so that it has something to stick to once I put it on the nail. And I'm using these little tweezers to apply them and move it around where I want. Once I was done applying all of the gems and curing them with my Macart handheld light, by the way, that's my favorite light, you guys. I always leave that in the description for you guys because it is so gorgeous and powerful. But I digress. What I'm doing right now is getting ready to insert the rings into the nails. Now, I've never done this before either. This was brand new to me. Because I had never done this before, I don't have the right bit in order to drill through the acrylic. If it was a gel X set, oh my gosh, I could have done this in a heartbeat. This would have been no problem. But acrylic is a lot thicker and stronger, so I know they make bits specifically for this, but I just didn't have it. So what I'm using is a cone bit. It's pointy enough to start drilling that hole. And my worry was that because it gets wider towards the barrel, since it's a cone, that it was going to be too wide and look ridiculous, but it actually worked out really, really well. Just be careful if you're going to do something like this that the bit does not slip, because when you're starting to make that hole, there's no dent for the bit to like sort of stick to, so it just starts sliding around everywhere. So you want to be really, really careful and gentle at first so you don't hurt yourself. Another thing that I did was I actually started filing both ways, because once you start filing at the top, you can kind of see through the bottom where the hole is starting to form, and that will help you like not waste as much time and also not make the hole so big, because going both ways will help you avoid going so far up the barrel and basically not make the hole so wide. One more thing about the ring itself, guys, they are not flimsy. They're not cheap. They are super sturdy, so you cannot open these with your bare fingers. So what I had to do was use my nail nippers to start like pulling them open. Sometimes, depending on which ones you choose off of Amazon, they do come with like little mini pliers, but this set did not. So I had to open it with my nail nippers and close it with my nail nippers as well, because I thought I was Superwoman and could close these with my fingers, but no. So once I applied all of the rings where I wanted, this was the final design, and I was so happy with the colors and how everything turned out. I thought it was so cute. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.